Good afternoon, everybody. This is take two of our preview podcast for the grand final. We had a bit of a technical hitch before where we lost Andre and couldn't get him back, but I've now managed to get him back. So, Andre, are you with us?
Hey, I am here.
So, we're going to basically start again from scratch. So, do you want to introduce yourself, who
Yes,
you are?
I am Andre. I run Eurovision Obsession, EurovisionObsession.wordpress.com. Uh, it's been my project since 2009 is where I started it. Uh, and in case you couldn't tell, I am American. There are a handful of us who love the contest over here. As you can see, I love Eurovision so much. It's more than just a passion. So, yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Cool. Well, people might know me because this is my YouTube channel. I'm Dan. I'm from Reading in the UK. My blog is Dizzy DJC, which is basically me blogging about my life, what I get up to. I talk a lot about music that I'm into, but more importantly, and around about every May time, I always discuss Eurovision, of course, which is like
And I
my
discuss Eurovision year round.
well, it's like my passion year round as well, and I love it. So today we are going to be discussing all about the grand final. But before we get started on that, I think we need to talk about the second semi-final and the results. So here are the list of qualifiers from last night. For Sandre?
Uh, I am more happy than sad. I'm shocked that Austria made it through. As much as I love that song, I thought his performance last night was not good. Pretty bluntly saying. So I'm assuming his jury performance was on point. Um, Songs like Croatia and Romania, both of which I am less excited about, that I don't particularly care for. I thought both of them were really well performed. If you look at my live notes on my blog, you'll see I put both of them in my top 10 from last night. And it's like, I don't even like Romania's song, but they did such a good job of performing, they had such great chemistry together, so high energy. Um, so they really earned their qualification spot, despite the low quality of Yodel Lit. Um, I was pleasantly surprised by Belarus. Uh, I liked the song when the first time I heard it. I thought it could have done well. Um, and then I kind of started to change my mind, but I'm glad it went through. And then Bulgaria, those who read my blog will know that I chose Bulgaria from the very beginning to win, and so far they're still alive. So this is some of my initial reactions. Dan?
Yeah, I have to agree. Bulgaria, I think, was sailing through to the final. I think they are definitely. We'll come on to this later, but I think they are one of the ones to watch this year. I was very surprised. Can't even talk. Pleasantly surprised by Belarus getting through. It's a fun song. I did kind of think maybe singing in Belarusian might let them down with the juries, but obviously not. They've got through, and I think the fun part of the performance is done well with the televotes. I'm also proud to see Croatia get through. Now I'm going to reveal a little secret again. You might have remembered in the first semi-final when I watched Portugal, there was a few tears that was welling up because it was just like so emotionally like lovely. But I have to say as well, Croatia at the end of the song where he was like talking about my friend, and I was like the big stage with the beautiful scenery. I have to admit, I did start welling up a little bit there as well. But hey, we won't talk much about that anymore. So,
Speaking of Belarus and Croatia,
yeah,
you were discussing about how all the non-English songs made it through.
that's right. It is. Yeah, in this final, all of the participating songs in both the semi-finals and the final that are non-English speaking have got through. So you've got Hungary, you've got Belarus, you've got from the first semi-final, of course, Portugal. I'm trying to remember who else actually.
And then Croatia is half not English. And so that also
Well,
came
yeah.
through.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. So that is our list of qualifiers for the second semi-final. What a show that was. If you haven't seen it, go and catch up on it right away so you know what we're talking about. But now it's time to look at the running order of the final. So basically, we're going to just quickly sort of look through each one, and I'm going to ask Andre, and Andre's going to ask me where we predict this will end up in the final. So are you ready, Andre?
I am if you are.
All right, let's take this away. So starting the show, it's Israel. We've
Israel.
got Imri and I Feel Alive.
Yes. I thought the live performance is so much fun. Uh, though I think because it's so dance heavy, it detracts from its vocals, which we all know the jury likes some good vocals. So I think ultimately it's going to end up mid-table. So I'll say in the lower teens.
Lower teens. I'd say about the same. I'd say probably about 16 to 20. I can see this ending up at. It's a nice starter song. It'll get the crowd pumped. And it will start Eurovision 2017 with a bang, quite literally. So I honestly think it's be 16th to 20th in the final. So that is slot number 1. Number 2 is Poland.
Yes.
Flashlight.
I think this song is tremendous. Excuse me. And I'm very as pleasantly surprised that I moved through from semifinal 1. And however, I don't know how well it's going to actually do at the final. Seeing the producers gave it the second spot, which is the only position that has never won in all 63 years, 64 years of Eurovision. It's the only spot to never have a winner come from it.
It seems to
And
be the
so,
curse spot, doesn't it?
yes. So I think is an indication that Poland probably did not qualify very strongly. And so I would think it would go probably towards the bottom, unfortunately.
See, I have to relate back to 2016 when the lovely, I've forgotten her name now actually, but the singer from the Czech Republic, Gabriela
Oh yeah,
Konchikova,
Gabriella.
song I Stand, she performed in the second position and she
Oh,
got
that song is so
0,
amazing.
I know, and she got 0 points from the televote. And I think a very similar thing might happen here, but not so much with the televote because Poland has a high diaspora of people that will be voting for it. I reckon it will probably come low with the juries. And I think probably they'll end up probably about 18th in the grand final. Probably about the same sort of range as Israel, I would say. That's just my feeling anyway. So who's number 3?
Belarus.
Belarus.
Yes.
Story of my life.
Great song, lots of fun. Again, you can tell that these two are like really fun. They're really good friends according to their bios, and you could tell that they have a lot of good chemistry together. Um, I think I think it's to their advantage that they have a folk sound, and I think it's to their advantage that it's not in English because it helps the song really stand out. So I would I would still say this song will probably finish in the lower teens though, simply because I don't know if it's strong enough to crack into some of the ahead of some of the favorites.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think this isn't going to be a big result for them. I think they'll be pleased to get into the final, of course, but I actually predict this will probably be between 20th to 26th in the final, and probably will only we'll be towards the bottom anyway, to be fair. But it's a good song, it's a fun song, and their performance last night was fantastic. I'm really happy for them, and I'm sure they're happy that they made it to the final to begin with anyway. So that's an achievement for them.
Especially with the first song ever in Belarusian. And the first time Belarus
Exactly.
sent something not in English. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a risk that paid off for them. So well, yeah, well played, I'd say. Song number 4 then is Austria.
Austria. As I said, I love this song. I think it's so much fun. I think it's so great. It's so inspiring. It has such a lovely message. Um, I think the staging is really weird. I don't know why they put him in a half moon. And again, his live vocals last night were not good. So if he fixes that, because it sounds like a lot of them are kind of sick or something. So if they can get over that, then I think he could end up surprising a lot of folks and finishing like just outside the top 10. But
Yeah,
if he gets another, yeah,
see, I have to agree. I think this probably did a lot better than what people are giving it credit for. I think yesterday, to be drawn out in envelope 10, so basically he was the last country out of the envelopes to be announced as a qualifier. I think that goes to show that normally it's probably done quite well because it's the producer's way of building up the excitement. Now, I can actually see this doing really well for juries, maybe not so much televote, but I'm going to predict this will probably become about 11th to 15th in the final
yeah,
overall. So, yeah, the thing is with this song as well, because he's got another early draw, it might get washed out with all the other songs competing after him, but I'm hoping it will do well for Austria as well. Cool. So, song number 5 is Armenia.
you can go first.
Cool. Well, first of all, can I just point out, by the way, there's a format issue. So you might be seeing some names on some of the songs, and you might not be seeing on others, but that's just a formatting issue because we had last-minute technical issues. But yeah, this is Armenia, Fly With Me, performed by Artsvik. I absolutely love this song. I was rooting for this song in the first semi-final and it made it through. Woohoo! It's performing in an early slot this time, though, and I think that might harm its chances just slightly, but I do think this will come really quite high with the televotes. I'm predicting at least top 10 in terms of the televotes. Juries, I reckon, will probably rate it about the same. So I'm going to predict probably about 10 to 6 as an overall result for Armenia this year. What about you, Andre?
I I love this song as well. I don't think it matters if it. I don't think it matters where in the running order it is. It's so unique, and the staging is so provocative that I think no matter where it is, you're gonna have people who are gonna remember it. You're gonna have jurists who remember it. Um, with that said, I think there is a bit of a ceiling with how high this song can finish. So I also think it's gonna be in that 10 to 6 range.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely top 5, definitely top 10, but not top 5. I think there's just so many strong songs this year, and I think there's so many songs that um, are. I want to say this delicately, but essentially, there are songs that are a little less unique that have a bit wider appeal than this one.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Cool. 10 to 6. I think we're universally agreed on that one. So let's have a look at number 6 in the final. Now, what's interesting, this is the Netherlands. Can I just say, start talking on this one? Sorry. It's actually quite weird that the Netherlands are performing in number 6 in both the final and in the second semi-final as well.
oh yeah.
Um, so it's a bit, I don't know what to make of that really, because you'd think they'd want to try and change it up a little bit. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the song, Andre?
I guess because 6 is 3 times 2. I don't know. Um,
Maybe.
I think maybe I have always thought this song is one of those that have been just going along right beneath the radar. It's something that I think everyone likes, but I wonder how many people actually love it. And
Hmm.
so with that, I think Netherlands is going to get probably around the same thing they got last year, so in that 15 to 11 range, just outside the top 10.
Cool. I really love this song. I think the harmonies are fantastic, and I think that
Oh
is probably
yeah.
going to do really well with the juries in this because they'll be looking at vocal ability. Um, so I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'm gonna say 10-6 again on this one because I
Mm.
think the juries will have it as a high. I'd say probably like fifth. I'd say overall, and I think wherever the televote is, even if they're like early teens, it's going to push them up. So I'm going to say 10-6, a top 10 finish for the Netherlands, I think, this year. Definitely. Cool.
We'll
So,
see.
song number six. Yeah, we'll definitely see. Only tomorrow night, not long now. Number 7 is Moldova.
Fun.
Yeah.
Um, this song is a lot of fun. Uh, I don't know how well it's going to do. Um, but it is a lot of fun. I think it's going to provide a nice little break there in the middle. Um, yeah, I think it's going to finish in the low teens. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think low teens for this as well. It's not going to be. It's a fun song, don't get me wrong, and people are going to enjoy it. But I don't think it's going to be the type of song that people are going to pick up their phone for and vote for as a winner. Um, I think, like you say, it's come at a right time after some sort of big ballads. So far, you got me. Well, I say ballads, but Netherlands is quite a sort of high vocal song. You want something that's a bit more sort of upbeat, a bit more happy, and I think Moldova's
Hmm.
sort of come at a right time. It's slot number 7 for that. Low teens, probably 18th, I'd say, for Moldova.
Excuse me.
So yeah, on to number 8, and it's Hungary.
I love this song. Um, I love how dark it is. I love how truthful it is. And I think is going to do rather respectably. 11 to 15 range.
I have to disagree. I think this will probably not do as well as think. I think probably 20 to 26. And I say that is because I don't see this doing well for juries. I think the juries will probably mark it down in parts because in the history of Eurovision, when there's been rap in songs, it hasn't done as well. I was surprised this actually made it through yesterday, to be fair, because of that. I thought the juries would probably mark it down and the televote wouldn't be strong enough. Um, so I think this time around in the final, that will still be the case. But because the televotes have so much more to choose from in terms of songs, I'm not sure if they'll get the televote support in here either. So I'm going to say probably 20 to 26 for Hungary. Even though I love the song, I do love it. I just don't think it will do that well this year.
Okay.
And also because right after it is Italy.
You can go first on this one.
Okay. Well, this kind of goes on with my argument as well, because I think Hungary will get washed up with all of the good songs, especially the fact that Italy is the bookies' favourite this year. It's got a lot of public support. I think Hungary will be forgotten after Italy performed. I honestly think Italy is a great song. I don't see it as a winner, even though people have been saying this as a runaway winner, it's going to win everything. I just don't see it. And the reason why that is because I've seen live performances with Francesco, and he's a great guy, but he can't, his live vocals aren't up to scratch, if I'm honest. And I think that might harm him in the final. So he might well be the public favourite. He might get the top televote. There's a motorbike, by the way, just for info. He might get the top televote mark, but I think juries will probably mark him as like 3rd or 2nd, and I don't think that'll be enough for him to be a winner. But we'll see. We'll see. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I feel similarly. I seeing it live on a stage kind of helped me a little better understand the hype, but I still don't quite understand why this song is so popular. I still don't quite understand why the bookies have why it's been the bookie favorite since day one. Um, I just don't get it. um, I actually think it won't win the televote, and I think it's going to get about third or fourth in both the juries and the televote. But I still think it's
Okay.
gonna. I
Oh,
think it's gonna finish
oh,
top five.
sorry. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't. I can see it doing well, but I don't see it doing well enough to win. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. Anyway, I sort of accidentally clicked the next one, so you know who already is coming. It's Denmark in slot number 10. What are your thoughts, Andre?
Go Denmark! For those who don't know, so I first discovered the contest when I was studying abroad in Denmark. That country is very near and dear to my heart, and I consider them like my home country for Eurovision. So I'm only slightly biased. I think it's an amazing song. Honestly, I think it's the best song since 2013. Um, which is not a difficult accomplishment. I don't think it's going to win, but I think it's going to get Denmark back to the top 10. So I say 6 to 10 range.
Yeah, I think again, I'm agreed with you there. I think 6 to 10 range for this one as well. It's a strong song for Denmark. Great vocal. I think she nailed it last night. Um, she did a fantastic job with her vocals, and it kind of gives me Sound of Silence vibes as well, which of course did really well for Dami Im last year. So I could see this definitely being top 10. I reckon if I'm going to put like an actual number on where I think they'll come, I reckon either 6th or 7th for me, I'd say.
Okay.
So, right, who is next? It is Portugal.
Great song. I think it hurts that is in the top half of the semifinal. Um, I think we're going to see Portugal's second ever top 10 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if there's any justice, then it should be top five. And could possibly threaten to win. I think it's going to come in around first or second with the jury, and then somewhere in the top 10 with the televote. So I would say top five.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on this. Actually, I reckon this will top the jury vote. I can definitely see that doing that. But I think, much in the same vein as Italy back in 2011, do you remember when they came back with that big jazz song?
Oh,
That
that
was
was so
top.
great.
Yeah, it was top with the juries, but it didn't get enough public support. And I think a very similar thing will happen this year with the song because it is very Marmite. It's you either love it or you don't like it at all. Um, but I reckon they'll probably get about 7th to 6th in the televote, and I think overall that will push them up to about third overall, which is still a respectable and actually the best ever result for Portugal. It's an amazing song. I love this song because it's just performed so like uniquely. It's just literally him on a satellite stage in the middle of an audience, and it's just so lovely. It's really good. And if you haven't seen the semi-finals, make sure you check out Portugal tomorrow in the final because it is a bit of a tearjerker.
Yes.
Right, so on to number. I can't remember where we are. 12, I think, aren't we now? Yes,
Yes. 12.
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. Yes. Um, Great song. Uh, the staging is interesting. Uh, not as strong as I was hoping it to be. Um, but definitely interesting. And it's not bad. I think that we'll see Azerbaijan finally return to the top 10, but I think it's going to be in the 6 to 10 range.
Yeah, I think agreed with you there as well. I think a top 10 finishes for this as well. There's been quite a lot of top 10s that we've predicted so far, but I definitely see this also being another top 10 finish. It is an amazing stage show that they have put on for us and this song. A bit weird, a bit out there, and I think for a minute or two you'll be like watching it thinking, what on earth is going on? But you'll get, when it gets to the point where they bring down the chalkboards, you know what I mean if you've seen it already, but when they bring that bit down, it all kind of makes sense a little bit, like, right, so I know what that means. And it's just unique, and I think it's something to look out for. And I think, yeah, definitely a top 10 finish for Azerbaijan this year. I'm not convinced in top 5. I reckon top 10, though, probably about a 7 or 8, I'd say. But we'll see. So, next up, just to confuse things even more, it's Croatia.
Fault? As well as he sings, I honestly think he's really buoyed more by a televote than he is by the juries. And I think we're gonna see that tomorrow. Now, granted, I don't think we'll have like a polling situation like last year where the juries basically ignored it, and then the people gave so many points they voxed up to the top 10. But I think it's gonna get most of his points from the televote, and end up in that 11 to 15 range.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think what's surprising with Eurovision is I found from history that operatic songs haven't done well with the juries. Like, for instance, we've seen back in 2009, Melina Ernman, who sang Le Voix, was marked down quite epically by the juries with that song. And also, of course, in Italy, 2015, they were the winners in the televote's eyes. Like, they saw that as the winner, but the juries only put them, I think, as 3rd or even 5th or something like that. And fifth, yeah, and it put them right down. So the juries don't buy into the whole operatic thing. And I think, like what Andrew's saying, I think the juries will mark this down, but the televote will push it up. But I don't think it's going to be strong enough to be top 10. I think it will probably end up lower teens, like 15 to 19 or 20-ish, is what I'd say.
And I think part of that, and this, I guess, could be a topic for a future post like this podcast, but I think the reason why is the juries are predominantly made up of folks who are either pop singers or dancers or producers of popular music, or people who study. Like, there's also like researchers,
journalists,
who study, and journalists. Like, there's people who study and follow pop music, and so because they're so focused on that kind of field, and part of the jury, even though the EBU doesn't officially give the juries any guidance on how they should be ranking songs, I think it's well accepted that a lot of times part of their ranking and part of the reason they're there is to help identify songs that are more commercially viable. And so I think they hear opera and they say, this is not something that could be on a top 40 radio station. And then they kind of move on. And so I would be interested to see what that pattern looks like, because 2013 Cesar was also brought down by juries.
That's right. Yeah. Again, an operatic song. I don't know what it is, but it's literally opera doesn't do well with the juries.
And it could be seen as more of a gimmick as well, and less of a sincere effort. You have a lot of folks who love opera and then see like pop opera as like this gimmicky, like, oh, this isn't real, and then they strike it down. So I think there's a lot going on, and perhaps a summer podcast collaboration. Hint,
perhaps
nudge.
You'll have to watch out for more. Subscribe, by the way. Right, so that's Croatia. So next up, we'll have an ad break, I believe, at this point.
We have an
And Andre,
advertiser?
I think. No. As in an ad break in the show.
Ah.
What are you doing? Are you opening a car door?
Yes, because my car is getting very hot right now.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So yeah, Australia is performing in slot number 14. I want to say, is that right?
Yes,
14.
14's
Yes. Yeah.
next.
What are your thoughts?
Oh my god, he was so terrible on Tuesday. Ah! I went back and rewatched it last night, and I could barely make it through. Oh my god. I don't know if he was nervous or if he just got started off on the wrong pitch or if he got hit on the head before he went out on stage. I'm not sure what happened, but he was just terrible on Tuesday. Terrible. And
Yeah.
so I hope and pray that he is doing whatever he needs to do to not be like that again on Saturday. One, just for entertainment's sake, but two, because this song could do well if he performs at his top abilities. Because I mean, he did win. What was it, The Voice or X Factor? One of those two. Um, he is talented. He just needs to show it. Uh, so I would say if he goes full strength, this song will end up 11-15 range, I think. If he does what he does on Tuesday, then he'll be in the bottom six. He'll be 20 or later, lower.
Hmm. See, I think we can both agree that he needs to do better with his vocals. Like, by the way, it's very windy where you are.
I
It's
live in
quite.
Oklahoma,
Oh,
so it
okay.
happens.
It's quite distracting. Sorry.
Sorry,
Um,
it's I closed the door.
what was I say? Yeah, I agree. I think we both agree that he didn't sing very well on Tuesday. Maybe that was nerves. Maybe I don't know. But the other thing that struck me is that people watching the show might not necessarily be diehard fans like us. They're watching the show. They're hearing the song for the first time. So for him to be
Yes.
trying to over sing the whole thing, like as if people knew the song and was trying to, overhype it. I don't think he
Yeah.
should do that. He should just stick to the original vocal that it was meant to be and let the song speak for itself. That being said, like you said, if he does muck up with the vocals tonight, I think, yeah, you'll be looking at quite a sort of bad placing for Australia. However, if he does sing it well, I think the song will shine through, especially after the ad break and the Croatia mess. Even though it's not that messy, but yeah. I think he could do, like a top teen finish, 11-15 range.
Okay.
Okay, so Greece.
Uh, this is essentially Greece saying, "Hey, wait a minute. Why don't we go back to what we did from 2004 to 2011 that was so successful?" Um, for a long time, Greece was pretty much guaranteed top 10, no questions asked. And this, I think, is an attempt to try to get back to that legacy. Now, granted, I think this year there's too many strong songs, so I don't think it's going to get there. But I think it will be 11-15 range.
You see, I think this is going to be bottom. I reckon 20-26. The reason I say that is because there is so many good songs this year, and I think this will be a classic case of being washed up. It'll be forgotten. It's a very generic pop song. Her vocals, dare I say it, are not that great. Well, what we've seen of the first semi-final anyway, they're not great. So juries are not going to like it that much. I honestly think I like Greece a lot. I like her. I like the song, but it's not going to be shining out proud this year. I think it'll be at the bottom of the table. So yes, and then we have Spain, La España.
um, I mean, I think they were aiming for a summer song. which this is very much. It reminds me of my time in California. It's it's a good beach song. Uh, but Eurovision's not a beach. I'm sorry, this song is so terrible. Uh, it's not gonna come in last, but it's gonna be down there. The only saving grace is I think that um a huge swath of Eurovision fans are teenage girls, and I think they're all gonna vote for this song en masse. So yeah, I'm thinking like 2021, something like that.
Yeah. When I first heard this song, because when it back in the national final, there was a bit of a scandal regarding who they selected.
Oh
Basically,
yes.
there was a tie, and it was this song and another song by Morella called Contigo. And I preferred this song out of the two. I like even back then I was defending this song. I was like, do you know what? I can see us doing well, really well, and that was because I likened it to be very similar to Sweden's entry last year, of Franz,
Ugh,
if I was sorry.
yeah.
I know I didn't really like the song that much, but it did well with
It
both
did.
the public and the juries. It came top 10. And I kind of thought it would have a similar result for Spain. I could see Spain doing well. But what's let it down is basically the staging. Like you watch it and you just kind of think it's just so bland. It's just like it doesn't really flow. It doesn't. He looks so out of place. Like he looks like he's just been sort of taken off the street, basically, and been like, yeah, come on, you know. It just doesn't sit well, and I just think, yeah, it's going to be low. It's going to be bottom, if not the bottom. It might even come last, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They should have like made it look like sand, and he should have like be sitting there like shirtless with a guitar and his shirtless friends. Then it might have been
Yeah.
or at least like wear his Hawaiian shirt open.
Well, you never know.
Like
There's still time. If you're listening, Manal, here's some hints, okay?
yeah, not just because people like shirtless men, but also because if you want that beach feel, like if you're on the beach, you're gonna be less dressed. So
Hmm.
that so yeah, so there's an actual strategic reason why you should be bare chested. Um, besides trying to get the less votes. But yeah, bottom. I say bottom. You say bottom.
But
We
yeah.
move on.
Sorry, Spain. Try harder next year. Anyway.
That's mean. I
Maybe.
I again. I think every country tries hard. I think, and I still stand by the fact that Eurovision is a battle of champions. Whether a song won a selection or won the hearts of producers in an office, they won something and they all deserve to
Yeah,
be here
they do.
regardless
That's
of
very true. And
a
actually,
personal opinion.
all of the songs that didn't make it from the semi-finals, like, you know, they all did so well anyway. Like, it's an achievement to even be on that stage performing. So they should
Yeah.
all take that away. And yeah. Anyway, next up is Norway, Norvège.
um I like this song. uh i'm s- I still don't quite know what to make of it, even in trying to think about whether it's going to make qualify or not. It's always like one of those, oh, there's one spot left, yeah, I guess I'll throw Norway in there. um I think it benefited from there not being a Russia to soak up all the votes, which is probably, now that I think of how, what helped Belarus. Um, but I think I think this song will kind of just go beneath the radar, much like the Netherlands, and end up in that 11 to 15 spot.
Hmm. Yeah, I like this song because it sounds very current. It sounds like something you'd just get off the radio nowadays. And I think it works really well in Eurovision as well, just with the stage performance that they do. Um, my only thing is, though, I think, again, this would be a case of being washed up in the middle. It's performing sort of between some good songs. Well, apart from Spain, obviously, but what's coming next might, you know, and I kind of think this will be lower teams for Norway, but it's good for them to be back in the final, though.
Yes.
So, do you remember who's up next, Andre?
No.
Let's have a look then. It is the UK.
Oh,
my
right,
homeland.
Right. Spot number 18.
Spot number 18. And just a quick note before we get started. This was written by Eurovision winner Emily de Forest, and she won from slot number 18 back in 2013. So,
and that is, I guess, the trivia buzzer. And how I always like to say it, those who view my blog would notice this. I always say the performing artist of the winning song, or the artist of the winner, the artist of the winning song, because it is a song contest, not an artist contest. So, I think sometimes we, as fans, and even Eurovision itself, puts too much emphasis on the artist sometimes, and not enough on the songs. And apparently Twitter thinks I'm right, because that's a Twitter sound.
What?
Are you just making sounds now? What are you doing? Apparently the technosphere agrees with me, because his phone is just making all kinds of sounds. Of concurrent.
It was actually someone ringing me, but it's like, yeah. We're doing a podcast, people. We can't answer the phone right now, okay?
Which is why mine is in silent mode.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Rookie mistake. Sorry. Where were we? Yeah, what were you, where do you reckon this will come?
I'm keeping track of where my predictions are going. I know this song, I'm tempted to say it's going to come in the bottom, quite honestly.
No!
I think it's, stop. Let me finish. I think that it's kind of a generic song. And it's kind of like a musical song. However, with that said, the bookies have taken it from like 20th to like 14th, and now is in the top 10. It might even be like fifth.
It's fifth. It's fifth in the bookies,
in the betting odds. So I think we have to take that into account. And I think it's probably gonna be in that 6 to 10 range. I think we'll see the UK back in the top 10.
I'm getting more and more excited for this entry, because I've mentioned this in the last podcast, but I've been rooting for Lucy since I saw her perform at the national final. I thought the song was standing out of all of the ones that were in the national final this year. And I'm glad that she's representing us, because I loved her in the X Factor too. She's got a great voice. The song is beautiful. It's got some great lyrics in it. The staging looks fantastic. I don't want to sort of say we're going to win, because I honestly don't think we're going to win, but I do think we are going to be back in the top 5, probably 5th is what I would say. I think the juries were like, I think the juries were like this more than maybe the public, but even so, it will bump them up. My opinion. Anyway, should we move on?
Yes. Last time the UK was in the top 5 was 2009, yeah?
It was. And actually, I think it'll be a very similar result, because back in 2009, Jade Ewan represented the UK with It's My Time, and the juries put it as 3rd, and the public put it as, I think, like 10th. But it was enough.
Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, and it bumped them up to being 5th overall, which is still a fantastic result. And I reckon similar will probably happen.
The BBC would be happy with 5.
They will be. They will be. Yes.
Good
anyway,
place without having to host. That is. I think that's what their goal is.
And also, it will put the naysayers at rest, who are going, "Oh, we're leaving the EU, so we better leave Eurovision." No, we better not. Anyway, Change the subject. Moving on to Cyprus.
Cyprus. I don't know how this qualified. Uh, it's funny leading up to it. I thought this was going to be a really strong song, going to do really well. I thought its biggest competition was going to be Israel, and the two of them would be fighting for like top, dance track. And then I saw the presentation. The staging is. It looks like they were saying, "Hey, we have no money, so what can we do to make this look less cheesy?" And then, well, thankfully, I'm not lactose intolerant. The staging is so disappointing. You have a song called Gravity, and you have the composition that it does. They could have done so much more. Even if they didn't want to put people on strings or on ribbon, like only that one point is he like lying on the ground. There's so much they could have done with all the LED screens and all the lighting and all the cameras to really give you that like lost in space kind of feel that you get like in the music video even. Um, it's just disappointing. Uh, but I don't think this song is going to stand out, and I think it will lose to Israel in the dance track race. And so I think it's going to be in the bottom.
Yeah, my thoughts on this song are literally just meh. And I reckon it will probably be 20th to 26th in the final.
Yeah.
So let's swiftly move on. Romania.
Again, great chemistry. Lots of fun in their performance. Terrible song. But you can tell they really enjoy being there. They really enjoy. They're really having a good time. They seem to hit it off really well together. Um, I kind of want to put in the top 10 just because I know this song is so widely popular. But I feel like there's always a song every year that's super popular and then ends up falling flat on its face. And I think that might be this one.
Yeah, I have to agree.
So I'm going to say in the bottom.
No, well, I don't know. I think it'll probably come 11th to 15th. It'll still get quite a lot of public going, oh, they're yodeling, yodeling. And they'll go, yeah, I'm going to pick up my phone and vote for that. But the juries are not like this at all.
So, Dan, you're one of the few people who I think has a bigger Eurovision knowledge than I do. Maybe like one of like the 5 people in the world. No.
Say that again. Well.
What song with yodeling has done well at Eurovision?
None.
And of all the rap songs we've seen at Eurovision, how many of them have done well?
Not many. Probably one.
One. Greece 2011, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I think this is as far away from Greece 2011 as you can possibly get.
I know, but the thing with this song, and like you said, it's fun, and people will be loving this because, especially here in the UK, there's a lot of stigma regarding Eurovision. They think of it as like this sort of big camp, over the top, like, yes. And they're going to fall in love with this song because they're going to think, oh, it's all Eurovision, it's all yodeling, you know. And I think that gimmick will shine for them, and I reckon they'll get a lot of public vote, but the juries are not going to like it. Mid-table.
So you're saying mid-table? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next up is Germany.
The song is average. I think it was built to really appeal to teenagers. She has a fine voice, but the staging. I don't know what's going on this year, but a lot of the staging is just lazy and poor. And the staging is as if it's specifically designed to be as forgettable as possible. She starts off lying on like a bunch of white and purplish gray light when she's wearing a white and purplish gray dress outfit.
Yeah.
And so you can barely see her at the beginning, and then you can barely see her in the middle when she stands up because the background is white and purplish gray. And then you can see her at the end because the background continues to be white and purplish gray. I don't fully understand why they dressed her in such a way to make her blend completely into the background like that. The only thing I can think of is that Germany has now decided that they want to
Lose.
take most bottoms record away from Norway. Um, and so Norway's record is 10, by the way. Germany is at 6 right now.
Oh, okay.
They're on their way. Turkey's in second with 8. So,
Really? Turkey? Wow.
yes. Turkey needs to come back and start trying to defend their title, I guess. Yeah, the 70s and 80s were not friendly to the Turkish.
So with this song, for me, I find it so bland. It doesn't go anywhere. Even her, like, I wanted to like it when it first was released, but sadly I didn't. And her little performance in the semi-final where they get like clips of what they're going to be doing for the final, she didn't sing this at all well. Now, if this song is to do well, because it is a boring song, you need to be able to deliver a good vocal, and she didn't even do that. So I honestly think between this and Spain, this is going to be last. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. So Ukraine.
Host country bump, I guess, will help. It's the only rock song this year, which also helps. But with the exception of Verka Serdushka, the drag act, Ukraine doesn't seem to do well when they send a man. So, both times before this one, they've sent it just in 2005, they got like 20th place or something, and then when they debuted in 2003, they got they didn't even qualify. They barely avoided last place in the semifinal. So, the 23 was before the semifinal. They got barely out of last place. So, yeah. I don't really know what to make of this song, so I was gonna say in the 16 to 20 range.
You see, for me, I think this is going to be good because it's the only rock song, like you say, it's going to stand out. It's the host country, and we know for host country, there's always a bit of the audience lifts it because it's so much like, yeah, Ukraine, yeah, and because it's a rock song, that kind of like lift is going to do really well. It's going to come across so good live. And also, you got to remember, it's a Slavic countries. Russia's not in it this year, so all of the ex-Soviets might actually vote for this one. But another song also might get a lot of votes, but we'll come on to that in a minute. I reckon this will be early teens, so like 10 to 15 in the final.
Okay.
So, Belgium.
Oh, I'm so happy this song made it. She looked really terrified when she was performing, and I don't know if that's just part of her, or if that's because the song's almost kind of about like isolation and just kind of being like the two of us against everything else, or what. But she looks scared. I mean, this song was super popular when the first in March, when all 43 songs were known. It was always really popular amongst the fans. I think that has not changed, even if the bookies have given a little less of a look than they used to. And I'm thinking it's going to finish 6 to 10.
I think this is another one to watch. I honestly think this is going to end up 4th because it's got so much. I reckon this is going to do extremely well with the public. We've seen there's evidence that the song since the semi-final, it's been doing really well throughout iTunes and Spotify in different countries.
That is true.
The public support is there. It's whether the juries have liked it enough. because we don't know how that sort of affected them, and especially with her vocals. But I still think this is going to be strong enough to get 4th position in the final.
Cool.
So, Sweden.
Look, this song is obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
In a different obnoxious.
Okay.
Obnoxious. In a different way than how their song last year was obnoxious. This is this song and his appeal and how he sings it and all that is like exactly what I think of when I think of like today's like young, attractive, smarmy people. Like he's so smug. I kind of want to punch him in the face when he
Don't
sings,
say that.
which detracts from this song. I'm not going to punch him in the face. I don't believe we should be violent, but like he just seems so smug, and it makes me upset. Um, but it's Sweden, so top 10.
Um,
All I said, top 10. Probably not top 5, but top 10.
I don't think this will do that well. I think again it'll probably be early teens, but it will miss out on a top 10. I think personally, it's an all right song. It's a pop song. It's well polished. But then that's Sweden all over, isn't it? They always deliver when they want a Eurovision song. But I think this year it's just not enough. It's lacking something. It's not going to be a winner.
Heart, soul.
Yeah. I'd say that actually it is lacking heart and soul. It's kind of just polished, manufactured pop. Get on with it, sort of thing. There you go. Yeah. So I'd say early teens because it will still have the appeal there. So Bulgaria, 25th. Do you want to start, or shall I?
I think we're going to be in Sofia next year.
I think so too.
That's the only indoor. That's the only indoor arena in the country that is big enough for Eurovision. And so, yeah, I think his performance was quite good. Now, granted, I think the Netherlands had a stronger vocal performance than he did, but great. And I know it's only going to get better tomorrow or tonight and tomorrow. I think tomorrow he's going to turn up to 11 and it's going to be amazing. The staging with like the effects and how they blend into the background, I think is really interesting and intriguing, and it forces you to watch. So even though it's like a ballad, and it's just him alone on stage, with these mysterious backing singers, I think it still catches your eye and makes you want to tune in and look. I think this is. I think Bulgaria is going to go from 0 to winner in just 3 short years.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm literally right now at this very second waving a Bulgarian flag in my hand. I am rooting for Bulgaria this year, both as my favourite and also I think as a prediction. I think they're going to do extremely, extremely well. I reckon they probably, very much like last year, I don't think they're going to top the jury. I don't think they're going to top the public vote, but they're going to come probably second in both, which will mean altogether they're going to triumph. And even if it's only a very small victory, like only like a few points in it, they're going to do it. And I think Sophia is calling. See you all there. And anyway, we've got one last song to do very quickly. So last up is France.
This is my favorite song this year. I think the staging is so last summer I wrote a whole series on what the various big five need to do in order to be competitive. Italy seems to have listened. The UK seems to have listened. Um, France did not. I think they read like the first half of it and then stopped paying attention. Because they chose. I mean, France's problem is not their song choice. France's problem is their staging.
Yeah.
They have consistently understaged or way overstaged everything, and this is a situation where they understage, where it's her alone for some reason. The stage is spinning like out of control. It's a bit dizzying. Um, Now, granted, I think coming at the end hasn't been that helpful for a lot of folks
No.
in recent years. So I don't think I think that only hurts. Um, and the song doesn't have a big end, so I think that's also gonna like make it not stand out as much. As this is my favorite song this year, and so as much as I want to put it in the top 10, I have a really sad sinking feeling that it's gonna be in the bottom.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you. This is a really good song, very good song. If they'd staged it well, it would be flying. It'd be doing really well. It'd come like top 10. But because the staging is so bad, like it's terrible. Like you're gonna get dizzy spells watching it. Honestly, tomorrow night, it's just not gonna do well. And because it's 26th as well, people will have long sort of they would have picked their winner at this point. They'd be getting sort of bored. We're like 2 hours into the show. They're going to be like, yeah, whatever, you know. So I don't think it's going to do as well as we'd hope it would do as well. I reckon low 20s again for France.
Yeah.
But just as a tip, if you're listening, anyone from the French delegation, next year, can you please hire a stage director? That's all you need. You've got the songs, you've got the talent. Just get someone on stage who will work as a director to guide you through what the best staging is. It worked for the Netherlands, so it will work for France. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, the Netherlands back in 2013 were essentially like, hey, we want to start doing well. And they actually invested time and energy into it.
Well, the classic example is 2014. They hired that, what's her name? Sasha, the director girl. And that was a brilliant performance. Like the camera work was so unique and also lovely, and it really worked for the Netherlands. That's all France needs to do is get someone that's like can watch it from a third point of view and be like, actually, that's not working. Let's do it like this. Because France would have done really well to have had the two dancers on stage doing like the ballet from the video.
Yeah,
something like that would have worked. But they've just completely shot themselves in the foot. But hey,
yeah.
So anyway, that has led us to the end of our 26 countries. That is the running order for tomorrow night. Have you got a favourite? Who are you voting for? We'd love to hear your comments. So please either subscribe, comment, or like this YouTube channel or this video, or even subscribe to our blogs.
And if you're like to vote on my behalf, since Americans are not allowed to vote, then please let me know, and I will give you my preferences.
Who are you voting for then? Who would you vote for?
Who would I vote for?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the night. I think Bulgaria is going to win, but I also want to think about how I want my vote to be used, and I think I would probably give it to probably Norway. I think they are probably the ones that need the support the most, to avoid being in the bottom 10, to end up with a respectable result. So I would probably give it to Norway.
Cool. Well, my votes will probably be going to Armenia, Belgium, and Bulgaria tomorrow. But Bulgaria needs to win, and I reckon they will. Good luck, Bulgaria.
Good luck, Bulgaria.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing more to say, really. This is it. This is our last ever preview podcast. I think we're going to be reconvening again on Sunday, aren't we, Andre? To discuss the results.
Yes. 1 hour earlier, because I have church.
Oh, do you? So what time would that be then? 1 o'clock?
1 hour earlier, yes.
And we'll be on time, and there'll be no technical difficulties this time, I promise you.
Yes.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, who is your favorite? Please get in touch. Please subscribe to either of our blogs if you want more information or
Yes.
more from us. And thank you for
Find us.
listening. And
Yeah, find us here on YouTube. Find us on our blogs, EurovisionObsession.wordpress.com, or in yours is.
DizzyDJC.com.
And find us both on Twitter. Dan's at DizzyDJC, and I am at ESC Obsession. And we look forward to hearing from
Hearing
y'all.
from you. Talk to you soon. See you soon, everybody, and enjoy the show.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.